Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoteric, another episode of the Unported playlist where I take a look at some of my favorite unported arcade games of all time, and today we're taking a look at Night Strikers. And this game has three different ports, the Sega CD, the PlayStation 1, and the Sega Saturn, and they are all vastly inferior one way or another to the arcade original. So as far as I'm concerned, if you want to play this game, there's only one way to play it, and that is the arcade version. Before we get too far involved, if you could do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe, and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. If you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we have a Patreon link down there as well. But Night Striker is an absolutely fantastic game with an outstanding soundtrack. Taito had a lot of amazing soundtracks. Some of their music is some of the best in arcade gaming that's ever been done, and Night Striker has that in spades. And like I said earlier, this game, you can play it on the Mega CD, and while it does have scaling technology, the sprites are so pixelated that it looks like a muddy mess and you just don't want to play it. It exists on PlayStation 1, and the frame rate is so low and laggy that it almost becomes unplayable. And the Saturn version has a better frame rate, but it's still pixelated, and it changes the soundtrack around to a point where you're not hearing the arcade original music. So, as far as I'm concerned, you just want to play this in arcades. And basically how it works is, it's kind of like an on-rail shmup. You have an analog control, you're moving up and down, left and right, and you're shooting everything in front of you. Now, you definitely want to emulate this game because this PCB is prohibitively expensive. I actually had one in last year. Another collector sent it to me because he wanted a full conversion harness made to be able to use a flight stick at home. Because this is a really interesting board where the JAMA Edge doesn't have video out, and a lot of the inputs are put into very specific places that only work for this PCB. So I did a full conversion for him. I do that now and then. I was able to play the game a little bit at my house, and I fell in love with it. I do want a PCB of this game, and maybe one day if a good deal comes down, I will grab it. You'll see here we took that right-hand path, and just like something like Outrun, this game has so many different paths that you can go down. It has a ton of replayability. And now that we're on to this next stage, suddenly we're not just dealing with shooting enemies, we also have to deal with environmental hazards and navigate our car around and through these different obstacles. So it has a lot of things going for it. There's sprites moving everywhere. You have to navigate through the environment while also attacking enemies. When you're playing this game really well, it feels flawless and so much fun. And it really gives you a lot of bang for your buck, especially in emulation, because your buck is zero, because you're going to be able to replay this game to see all the different stages, because each one is unique, each one has its own music, has its own things going on with it. And you'll see that I do take a couple strikes there. I like the fact that this game does give you some shields, so you're not one hit dead. You'll see here that my shield is no longer with me, so the next hit I take, I'm going to die. And this game does a great job of scaling the sprites. It looks as close to 3D as you're going to get with not actually being in a 3D environment. I love how these buildings fly by, how everything is smooth. And now that we've completed stage 3 and moved on, as we're going through this tunnel, this is spectacular looking for 1989, and that's when the game came out. Had this game come out in 94, 95, I still think it would look amazing, but the hardware that Taito's using for this game, in 1989, this would just be mind-blowing, and even today, I think it looks absolutely incredible. It's got a lot of things going on, and as we're flying above the city and all those different background layers fly by, it does give you a lot of sense of depth and a lot of sense of speed, and that's why the ports are so disappointing, because of the frame rate issues, you will lose all that sense of speed, and the game feels like maybe you're going 20 miles an hour versus flying over a city at a couple hundred miles an hour. So like I said, don't bother with the ports. They're not even that cheap, honestly. They're going to be expensive enough where you're going to be disappointed. Emulation is the way to go on this game. And now moving a little bit further in, we have this boss battle, and we have three different flying, I think they're mech suits, and they keep coming. And you will see that there is a timer as well in the bottom left-hand corner. And I never run out of time, but you can get pretty close to running out of time. I think I beat this boss battle at 1 second left, or the clock may have actually said 0. And if that happens, no big deal. You can keep playing. It's just a little extra mechanic that they put in the game. Yeah, I had 2 seconds left. What I'll let you do now is I'm going to let you listen to the next area from start to finish because, like I said, the soundtrack to this game is sheer perfection. You have to hear it to understand it, and I haven't looked up if they've released a vinyl soundtrack for Night Strikers yet, but if they do, I'll probably order it right after I finish the voiceover. But enjoy. So I did look a few things up in the pause, and what I found out is there was a vinyl soundtrack and it's sold out. Now I'm kicking myself for not getting that. And you can pick this up on the Mega CD for about $150. The Sega Saturn version looks like it's going for multiple hundreds of dollars, and the PlayStation version looks like it's hovering around $100. And I do not recommend you spend that money on any one of these releases, just emulate it. And I do know I saw the last sale of this board maybe midway through 2020, and it went for about $1,900. So this game is incredibly expensive no matter how you slice it. And if you do want an arcade PCB, it's not one that you can just go out and buy right now on eBay. You need to find one available for sale, and you need to want to put the money down for that board. Would I do it? Maybe if I was feeling foolish and had just won a bunch of money, but for me, since emulation is near perfect, that's why I love emulation so much, because on Unported I do use emulation. For the rest of the channel it is all original hardware, and I couldn't show you guys all these games if I wanted to because my budget isn't unlimited. Oh, how I wish it was, but it's just one of those things. I need to pick and choose what games I decide to collect for. But 100%, however you play Night Striker, play it. It's a game I consider to be near flawless in execution and 100% worth your time. But if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I love chatting with you guys and answering each and every one of your questions. And I will be back next Sunday with another episode in the Unported playlist. And I will have episodes on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday as well. But like I said, we're getting to the final stage here, and I will put a full gameplay playthrough up so you can check it out. But if you've never played Night Striker before, the video is now over. Go download it. Bye-bye.